Hello. Today is Tuesday, June 20th, and Transfer Talk is back as usual. Today we're going to discuss some of the fresh transfer news and rumors going on around the Europe, even though they're not much transfers going on around, primarily due to that Confederations Cup, which is going on in Russia. By the way, there are no games being played today as players are taking their rest in order to prepare for the next group stage games. The last and the biggest news of the last 24 hours is that Mohamed Salah is going to Liverpool, and he is believed to uh, take a medical tomorrow. And I'd like to talk a little more about that. I know I've talked about it yesterday, but this is the biggest transfer news as of now. That is why I would like to go ahead and dig a little bit deeper into that. Um, Given the fact that Jurgen Klopp has played 4-3-3 throughout the last season, 35 out of 38 matches he chose to play that tactical build-up. And most common lineup was Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino, and Felipe Coutinho up front. There's no surprise here. When you go down to the midfield, it's Lallana, it's Jordan Henderson, and it's Wijnaldum. No surprise here. And I wonder where Mohamed Salah will fit in for this squad. There is no way either Mane, Firmino, or Coutinho are going to be pulled out of the squad, given the fact that these three players are the best and the most effective players for Jurgen Klopp. Felipe Coutinho has scored 13 goals and has had 7 assists in 31 appearances. Sadio Mane, same amount of goals, 1 less assist in 27 amount of games. Roberto Firmino, 11 goals and 10 assists. One of the few players alongside with Alexis Sanchez who's able to complete that so-called double-double, if you are gonna imply the NBA terminology here. And where in Salah, 35 million. The whole problem for me behind this transfer is that 35 million euros price tag. Definitely from what can be seen now is that Salah was purchased in order to be a rotation player to prepare for the Champions League. That is the only logical explanation behind this transfer. And to pay 35 million euros for the rotation player when you have guys like Sturridge, you have like Divock Origi on a bench, man, I don't know. We already talked about how Salah has played in the Premier League and didn't do much. That is why Chelsea released him to Roma. He was in Fiorentina, then he went to Chelsea, then he went to Roma. Yes, he did fantastically in Roma, but that is Serie A, which is struggling right now, and that is Champions League. That is Champions League, man. Dilly ding, dilly dong. Really, 35 million for a rotation bench player? That is not good transfer, man. Jurgen Klopp, you can do a lot better than this. And you could have spent 35 million for 2 or 3 guys back there in your homeland in Germany. You see Red Bull Leipzig. I got this right this time. And you see Mönchengladbach, you see Schalke, you see all this German national team that was participating in yesterday's game against their opponent in a Confederation Cup. In fact, it was Australia. Yes, they struggled for a little bit, but the youngsters, all these brilliant players, they came out of nowhere. And by saying nowhere, I am taking the scale of a German national team. They performed brilliantly. Yes, they conceded 2 against Australia, but Brandt, Stindl, Goretzka, Kimmich, they were brilliant. You have Wagner, you have Werner, you have all these players. And Emre Can, which is a crucial central midfield and player for Jurgen Klopp, is being the part of the team. And I strongly believe that Emre Can has some connections in that national team and has some big influence in this squad in particular, because Emre Can is being considered as a star when you play alongside with Stindl, Brandt, Rudy, Wagner, Goretzka, you are considered a star because you are a part of the Liverpool squad. Okay, and Liverpool is bigger than Mönchengladbach, Schalke, Bayer Leverkusen, and all these clubs. So I think that Mohamed Salah is only a good transfer when you are talking about marketing perspective, because the whole Egypt is now going to go crazy about Liverpool as a club, and that is why they will, of course, take their money out of Salah by selling jerseys, by promoting him as an Egyptian player, as a second African player. In fact, Sadio Mane being the first one, and but still, he's not that great. I mean, Jurgen Klopp was always about passion and giving the best to his team, being aggressive on the transfer market. But this is not the best choice, and I no longer want to talk about it because I have strongly spotted my point of view, and I believe this is not a good transfer for Liverpool. Okay, as we move on. Another fresh news to bring to you, it's Iniesta. Most likely he will be leaving Barcelona, and Inter Milan are being the top contenders to sign this world champion and two-time European champion, and God knows how many Champions League he has won. Tremendous news, and I will tell you why. Not only that Iniesta will leave Barcelona after so many years of dedication, he was grown up basically in Barcelona alongside with Xavi, and now it is time for the legend of the club to say goodbye at the age of 33. And I mean, at some point you have to say goodbye, and for Inter Milan it will be a win, of course, because Iniesta is not going to be a costly transfer, and he will bring a huge value for the club in that midfield area, which I think will transform the whole scheme of how the club will play in a Serie A. But let's leave that for a moment. I mean, why would Barcelona sell Iniesta? And one and only logical explanation behind this, and this is that Verratti is on the verge of joining Barcelona from PSG. The fee is believed to be around 100 million euros. And I mean, Verratti instead of Iniesta is a decent substitution. It is a good move if you're Barcelona, because sooner or later you're going to say goodbye to your legend, to your capita. But how Verratti will fit in to Barcelona, it is only a question of time. He's a huge master, one of the best on his position, alongside maybe you can say Luka Modric, Toni Kroos, Verratti, Rakitic, and these all the out of four of these players play in either Real Madrid or Barcelona, and you want to make it 4 out of 4 in order to once again say who is the best clubs in the world right now. And I think that is a good deal for Barcelona, even though it is a really, really costly transfer to go with. As for Inter, as I said, it is a huge deal. There was no player such as good as Iniesta. I mean, in terms of caliber, I think there was no world champion playing for Inter Milan for a couple of years now, and for the team that is in a rebuilding process, Iniesta will be a huge add-on in terms of winning Serie A next season. I think that should be enough for that midfield. Okay, so next topic is going to be, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo, and the big news and the really only update about Ronaldo is that Florentino Perez spoke out to the local media and said that the only thing that I can say is that Cristiano Ronaldo is really, really mad, or I should say angry. And from that standpoint, that is the only official information that we have on our hands, since neither Ronaldo nor Real Madrid representatives have spoken before that. And from now on, we can officially assume that there is a huge turmoil going on between Real Madrid and Ronaldo. And I think, just like it's Andres Iniesta, it is a perfect time for Real Madrid to say goodbye to Ronaldo. in terms of club development from the sportsman point of view, and of course from business point of view. You won't get a better deal for a 32-year-old, whereas Manchester United are believed to be willing to pay 175 million pounds, and that is not all. They're willing to add David De Gea to that. So 100, I will repeat, 175 million British pounds plus David De Gea as part of a deal in exchange for Cristiano Ronaldo. And if you are Florentino Perez, if you are the president of Real Madrid, you cannot get that in your dream. I mean, this is a deal of a century, and you of course are going to close your eyes on that 1 billion release clause, which is of course shocking, and you'll let it happen. And let's now view from Cristiano's standpoint. There are really two clubs that can afford him. Is PSG besides Manchester United. So why would Cristiano go to PSG? Yes, he will guarantee himself as the best player in League One. He will, of course, win that League One title. But what else can he achieve there? Nothing. And Cristiano Ronaldo cares less about money rather than winning the title. He is born to be champion. He's not going there for the money. He's not leaving Madrid because of money. There's something else that is going on. There's a part of his character that does not let him stay in Madrid no longer. And that is why Cristiano, from my standpoint, I cannot see him joining Paris Saint-Germain. I see him going back to United. I see him breaking the world record fee just like he did that in 2009 when he was transferred from that Manchester United to Real Madrid for 80 million euros. And now he's going to set yet another record in terms of the most costly transfer in football history. And for Manchester United, as I said before, that is going to be a huge win because a club of this caliber needs to have a superstar. And when Zlatan leaves, when Wayne Rooney leaves, there is going to be no superstars. With all respect to Paul Pogba. And you just need to have it when you're considered to be one of the top two richest clubs in the world. And you should have Cristiano Ronaldo, who was in fact spotted by the club legend Sir Alex Ferguson. And I think Sir Alex will play a huge part in that deal because they have a tremendous relationship among them. And of course, Jose Mourinho will be happy to see his compatriot in his squad, given the fact they really need the player like Cristiano in terms of a team build-up. They really need that, and that is why they went after Ivan Perisic and were ready to pay 50 million euros for him. They need a decent winger. And we're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. A word decent is not pretty much what you want to use, but at least it satisfies the needs of the club. And it goes above the needs of the club. You'll have world class, one of the best players ever to play this game on the left wing. Or possibly, I suppose Ronaldo should play as a center forward because that's what he does in Portuguese national team, and that was what he has been doing in Real Madrid. And even from that standpoint, Manchester United has no decent at a minimal to say striker, given the fact that Zlatan, as I said, is going to leave. So that is a huge deal for United, and I really hope that works out because I want to see a different Real Madrid. I want to see a different Cristiano Ronaldo. I want to see a different Premier League, and everyone will gain really from that. And I think it should happen. I think Cristiano should return to his home and provide the necessary boost for Jose Mourinho's team. And as we move forward, one last topic that I would like to cover for today is Gianluigi Donnarumma. And this is a really sad topic to talk about because I would like you to portray yourself as Donnarumma. Okay, you are 16 years old. You are a guy who plays in the B squad of AC Milan, and you are being spotted, and you are being promoted to the first team primarily due to the fact that the first team is not going good, and it is in crisis, in financial crisis, and you have been given a chance to stay in goal at least during the practice for the club that have won the most amount of Champions League trophies if you exclude Real Madrid from that list. I mean, and then what happens is Abbiati gets knocked out, and you are being promoted as #1 goalkeeper at the age of 17. Now, I mean, what were you doing at the age of 17? Well, not playing for AC Milan, I'm sure about that, because nobody besides Donnarumma was playing at this stage for AC Milan. And I mean, you are saying no to the contract extension at the age of 18 just because some guy, which is your agent, said that there is no point and there is no value for you to sign the contract extension, because if you sign it, this is going to be a 5-year contract extension, which means that coming 5 years will not give you any trophies, any significant trophies. Whereas if you will leave AC Milan, you'll be able to join the clubs like Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, Manchester United, Chelsea. I don't know, the club that are doing much better than this current club of yours. And you'll get a lot more money, and you'll get fame, you'll get more attention, you'll get, of course, more victories, you'll be a part of a cool squad. And when you are 18 years old, which way would you go? Would you say no to the club that raised you? Would you say no to the club that trusted you at this very young age? Would you say no to the club that gave you really everything? Because God knows where Donnarumma would be right now if not AC Milan giving him that chance. And Donnarumma says yes to that, what was proposed by his agent Mino Raiola. And days after, Mino Raiola said that it's not about money, it's about how Donnarumma was treated in the club. I mean, come on! If you are shuffling, if you are unsure about your future in the club, of course club's gonna press you. I mean, are you out of your mind? What else do you want? Why are you even thinking about it? Come on, just sign this paper, and for the next 5 years you will get 25 million euros. And we are talking about a teenager who by the age of 23 will get 25 million euros only from the salary. And nowadays a player who is like of Donnarumma caliber, who is considered to be next Buffon, who is already being a part of Italy's national team and the primary goalkeeper for AC Milan, you'll get a lot of sponsorship besides that contract. So we are talking about nearly 50 million by the time he'll get 23 years old. And when he gets 23 years old, he'll definitely will have an opportunity to sign for the clubs like Real Madrid and Barcelona and Chelsea and Man United and PSG, because 23 years old is nothing. You look at Buffon, he's like 40. Well, he's not, but he's close to being 40, and he still plays on the world class level. So 23 years old means that you have at least 12 more years to play. 12 more years, which means that is like 67% of which you have already played. I mean, really? Donnarumma, you have made a big mistake. And all those people who threw the money on him during the Under 21 European Championship, which is going on in Poland, they were right. And all those heartbroken fans of AC Milan that are throwing some bad words at you, well, I'm not supporting that aggression and bullying and all that, but you don't deserve less than that. I mean, what were you thinking? And now when you're gonna go to the club type of Real Madrid caliber or Manchester United caliber or Chelsea caliber, one single mistake and you're going to be eaten alive by the media. And imagine one single mistake and AC Milan, or two mistakes, or three or 10 mistakes and AC Milan, it would have been nothing because you are in love. Fans loved you. You had everything you needed to have. You were living a life of a dream. Every single teenager dreams to have the life you had. But no, you made a huge mistake and now you will have to deal with it. There is no way around. Gianluigi Donnarumma, you will be staying at AC Milan for at least one more year because that is what was written in your contract, and I fully support the new Chinese owners of this club, which were confident in the fact that Donnarumma should stay in the club for one more year, even though we do not guarantee him a place in the starting lineup, and I do not think that Donnarumma will play in the starting lineup, given the fact that AC Milan are already searching for the new goalkeeper, and Mattia Perin from Genoa is being considered as #1 candidate for that spot, and it is the right decision. I mean, everyone should know that club, the idea around the club as an institution is #1. It comes first and then comes any other individual. I mean, the club should not rely on individual, and no player is worth more than a club. So that is why Donnarumma is in the worst position you can possibly imagine, and that has changed with only 3 words. I'm not signing. Terrible. And I mean, you still have a chance. Probably you still have more than 0% chance to overturn that decision, but that still will not be the same. You'll still be treated as a traitor, somebody who really considered to leave the club that gave you all. So that is all for now. That is all the news and all the discussions that I wanted to discuss with you. Tomorrow there are going to be held 2 matches in FIFA Confederations Cup. It's Russia versus Portugal. In Russia, of course, and Mexico versus New Zealand. Of course, Portugal will need that victory in order to make sure they will qualify from that group. Mexico are being the huge and heavy favorites against New Zealand, the current champions of Oceania. I think they will pull off an easy win there. But Russia will put in effort, and Portugal will definitely need to play at a maximum to grab all 3 points against the hosts. And Cristiano Ronaldo needs to step up because he was nowhere near his maximum in the first game against Mexico. Alright guys, that is all for now. Stay cool until tomorrow, so on.